So, there is this mysterious statue in Delta State University in Abraka community of what looks like a young girl sitting on the floor next to a tray of oranges. From a distance, it looks so realistic, but when you come closer to this image, there is something uniquely horrifying, scary, and mysterious about it. For one, it looks like a young girl, and for two, her eyes are marked red. And according to the story, this statue was made in honor of a young girl who used to be a student of Delta State University as far back in the early 2000s. It was said that this young girl sold oranges to support herself through school, although her name is not mentioned. However, this story has gone viral on social media and somehow even dividing the internet, with some people saying it never happened and others saying it's a true story. However, in this video, you're going to find out whether this story happened for real or whether it's fiction. The story attributed to the statue claimed that the young girl was a 300 level student who came from a poor home where she had lost her father and had to rely on her struggling mother to cater for her, pay her fees, and also support her the best way she could. Over time, she couldn't rely on her mother anymore, and she started selling oranges around the school compound and around the Abraka community to raise money to support herself equally. It was during her 300 level, when her exams were approaching, that things got really hard. She hadn't paid her fees, and she hadn't paid some levies. Some handouts and textbooks she hadn't gotten, and so she had to double her hustle. One day, circa 2001, she picked up a tray of oranges and began hawking around the community where the school was. And in one of her movements, she met a rich man who they said was already familiar with her, who had bought oranges from her in the past. And so she knew the man, they had become friendly, and while the man was trying to buy oranges from her, they got into a little conversation where she told the man of her personal problems, of how she was struggling to meet up her fees so that she could successfully take her exams. And so it was said that the man then asked her into his vehicle so that they could go somewhere and discuss more about how he could help her. And that was the last time anyone saw this girl, alive at least. Days later, according to the legend, according to the story, her body was found on the roadside with her both eyes plucked out. And that was when they knew she had been used for rituals. Some sources claim that her ghost haunted the rich man and the rich man came out to confess and his mansion was seized. Other sources said that the man on his own came out and volunteered to confess to the police. And so the statue was made in Delta State University, Abraka, and it was dedicated to her. While most people believe that this story is true, some people have called it out and said it's a lie, that is pure fiction, that this was just an art student who made a project so that he could pass his exams, that the image did not exactly reference any story that happened in the year 2000. So, which is it? Is this story true or is it fiction? Was there ever a young girl that was killed and had her eyes plucked out for the purpose of money rituals? Or is this all a lie? Well, the simple answer is this is true. This happened. But the other answer is not quite as we know it. Back in the day, a 22-year-old girl by the name of Elozino Ogege was killed and used for money ritual in the same manner as the story relating to this statue. Is it possible that the story attributed to this statue is that of Elozino? Or is it that history repeated itself? Is this a case of life imitating art? Or is this a case of art imitating life? The thing is, the story of the orange seller and that of Elozino is very similar. Very the same in a way. It's hard to hear the statue story and then hear Elo's story and not think that, either history repeated itself or the story for the statue was gotten from Elo, because it's pretty much the same thing, except for the orange part. And also, except for the fact that whereas the orange seller story was claimed to have happened in the early 2000s or late 90s, Elo was killed in 2018. So the timeline is really far. If these people are claiming this happened in 1999 or 2000 or 2001, and Elo's story was 2018, if the statue story is true, then this might just be history repeating itself again in the most similar way possible. Otherwise, the story of the statue is originally that of Elozino. So what is the story of Elozino? Now, let's get into it.